The sleek hegemony vessel descended through Earth's atmosphere, ignoring air traffic protocols. Fighter jets scrambled but were ordered to stand down by Admiral Kim. First contact would not begin with violence, at least not from humanity's side. Lord Tay emerged from his ship flanked by guards whose armor seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Standing over 7 feet tall with metallic blue skin and 4 arms, he surveyed the diplomatic reception with obvious disdain. Admiral Ju-eun Kim stepped forward. Despite being half his height, she carried herself with quiet authority earned through 30 years of military service. "Welcome to Earth," she said. "We're honored to make first contact with the Galactic Hegemony." Lord Tay's translator device hummed. "Honor is irrelevant. I am here to formalize your integration," the gathered diplomats murmured nervously. This wasn't how they had imagined humanity's introduction to galactic society. "Perhaps we could discuss terms of alliance," suggested Kim. Lord Tay's silver eyes blinked sideways. "Your species will integrate as a tribute world. Your resources now belong to the hegemony." Admiral Kim kept her expression neutral despite the insult. Years of poker games with her senior staff had prepared her for this moment. "We propose an alternative arrangement. Earth maintains autonomy while establishing trade relations." 12,000 worlds comprise the hegemony, Lord Tay stated flatly. "All follow our directives. Your technology is primitive. Your military capabilities are negligible. Your value lies solely in your mineral deposits and biodiversity." Defense Minister Choi stepped forward. "With respect, we won't surrender our sovereignty without—" Lord Tay raised a hand, cutting him off. "Perhaps I've been unclear. This is not a negotiation." The meeting deteriorated from there. Lord Tay presented terms. Earth would surrender 20% of all natural resources, provide 1 million humans annually for labor allocation, and accept hegemony military bases on every continent. "We require time to consider," Admiral Kim said finally. "You have 7 planetary rotations," Lord Tay replied. "Then we proceed with or without your cooperation." After the hegemony delegation departed, President Han convened an emergency session. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials gathered in the war room beneath Seoul, 300 feet underground in a bunker designed to withstand nuclear attack. "They're not interested in peaceful coexistence," Admiral Kim reported. "Their terms amount to colonization." General Park, commander of ground forces, leaned forward. "What military capabilities are we facing?" Dr. Moon, head of xenotechnology analysis, pulled up scans of the hegemony vessel. "Their ship materials are unlike anything we've developed. Energy readings suggest weapons that could level cities with single strikes. Can we fight them?" President Han asked bluntly. Silence fell across the room. Admiral Kim accessed classified files on her tablet. "We've been preparing for extraterrestrial contact for decades. Project Orion was developed specifically for worst-case scenarios." The screens around the room displayed orbital platforms, stealth satellites, and undersea facilities that official records said didn't exist. "These are prototypes," General Park objected, "untested in actual combat." "True," Kim acknowledged, "but the hegemony doesn't know what we have. They assume we're defenseless because we don't have interstellar travel." President Han removed her glasses, suddenly looking older. "How many would die if we resist?" "Millions, potentially," Admiral Kim answered honestly. "But how many will die under their rule? How many of our people shipped off-world never to return?" The room fell silent, again as the implications sank in. "Prepare contingency protocol Orion," Kim told her commanders finally. "They believe we'll surrender when threatened." "And if they attack?" asked General Park. Kim's gaze hardened. "Then they'll learn that humans don't negotiate when our survival is at stake." Over the next 5 days, civilians in major cities were quietly evacuated under the guise of emergency drills. Military reserves were activated. Hidden weapons platforms powered up in Earth orbit cloaked by experimental technology. On the 7th day, Lord Tay returned. This time, he didn't bother landing. His holographic image appeared in the United Nations General Assembly. "Your time has elapsed. What is your decision?" President Han stood. We respectfully decline your terms and propose instead a mutual recognition treaty between equals. Lord Tay's expression didn't change. Unfortunate. Preliminary pacification will commence. After suitable demonstration of our power, we expect your surrender. As his image faded, Admiral Kim received an alert. Hegemony ships had appeared in orbit. The first missiles were already falling toward Earth's atmosphere. She opened a secure channel. All Orion units activate. This is not a drill. The war for humanity's survival had begun. The Hegemony's first strike targeted McMurdo Station in Antarctica. They considered it a merciful choice, a remote research facility with minimal casualties that would demonstrate their power while allowing Earth's leaders to surrender with dignity. They were wrong on all counts. The massive energy beam from the Hegemony warship punched through the atmosphere, illuminating the Antarctic sky with unnatural daylight. But instead of vaporizing the research station, the beam scattered in 1,000 directions, diffused by a previously invisible shield. On the bridge of his command vessel, Lord Tay stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. "Impossible," he muttered. "Their technology is too primitive for energy diffusion fields." His weapons officer, Sub-Commander Doe, looked equally confused. The humans must have reverse-engineered something from damaged Hegemony technology found on their world. "We have never lost ships in this sector," Lord Tay snapped. "Target their major military installations, no more warnings." Across Earth, Hegemony vessels positioned themselves above strategic targets, their weapons charged, targeting Washington, Beijing, Moscow, and other centers of human power. Deep in her underground command center, Admiral Kim watched the Hegemony, fleet movements on a three-dimensional holographic display. She had expected this. The Hegemony would follow standard invasion doctrine, eliminate command structures, then demand surrender from a leaderless population. "Activate all Artemis nodes," she ordered. Around the world, hidden facilities powered up. What the Hegemony didn't know was that humanity had detected their scout ships years ago. Earth had been preparing quietly, developing countermeasures while appearing technologically backward. The Hegemony ships fired simultaneously. Their energy weapons lanced toward Earth's surface, only to scatter harmlessly against shields that shouldn't have existed. In orbit, hundreds of previously invisible satellites suddenly activated, releasing swarms of tiny drones. Each drone, no larger than a coffee cup, attached itself to a Hegemony vessel and began drilling through their supposedly impenetrable hulls. "We're under attack," Sub-Commander Du shouted as alarms blared across the command ship. "Unknown devices are breaching our outer shell." Lord Tay's four hands moved quickly across the control panels. "Impossible. Their level of technology was deliberately understated." Admiral Kim's voice came through on all Hegemony communication channels. "You should have done more research before threatening our world." On Earth's dark side, massive railgun installations, hidden beneath the ocean's surface, fired magnetically accelerated projectiles toward the Hegemony fleet. The projectiles weren't explosive. They didn't need to be. At 50% light speed, even small objects carried devastating kinetic energy. 3 Hegemony cruisers shattered as the projectiles punched through their shields and hulls. "Full invasion protocols," Lord Tay ordered, his voice rising in pitch. "Launch all fighters." Thousands of smaller Hegemony craft poured from the larger ships, expecting to face primitive jet aircraft. Instead, they encountered Earth's own fighters, machines that seemed to phase in and out of normal space, impossible to target. In the skies above Seoul, Commander Sun led Earth's first aerospace wing into battle. Her neural link with her craft allowed her to control it with thought alone, reacting faster than any manual pilot could. "Remember your training," she told her squadron. "Their technology is advanced but predictable. Use the phase shifts to your advantage." The human fighters appeared to teleport randomly around their targets, firing concentrated energy pulses that overloaded Hegemony shields. On his command ship, Lord Tay watched in growing horror as the tactical display showed Hegemony fighters vanishing by the dozens. "How are they doing this?" he demanded. "Where did they get this technology?" "Unknown, sir," his intelligence officer replied. Our advanced probes showed nothing beyond primitive rocket technology and basic satellite networks. Lord Tay slammed all four fists on his command console. It was a deception. They knew we were watching. In her command center, Admiral Kim monitored the battle with grim satisfaction. Humanity had gambled everything on this moment, hiding their true capabilities, letting the hegemony believe Earth would be an easy conquest. Forward command post is vulnerable, reported General Park. Their defensive grid has a weakness on the ventral side. Launch Thunderbolt strike, Kim ordered. From a hidden lunar base, Earth's most advanced warship accelerated toward the hegemony command post. Looking more like a spear than a traditional vessel, it carried a single quantum implosion device, technology the hegemony believed was centuries beyond human science. The ship struck before hegemony sensors could track it, penetrating deep into the command post before detonating. The quantum implosion collapsed the entire structure into a point of light that briefly outshone the sun before vanishing completely. In the aftermath, half the hegemony fleet had been destroyed or disabled. The remainder regrouped, retreating to a higher orbit. Lord Tay stared at the tactical display in disbelief as half his fleet went dark. What are these humans? Sir, his communications officer interrupted. Hegemony High Command is requesting a status update. Lord Tay gazed down at the blue planet below. What should have been a simple colonization had become something else entirely. Tell them, he said slowly, that we require reinforcements. Earth is not what we thought. The hegemony reinforcement. Fleet arrived 3 days later, dropping out of faster-than-light travel beyond Mars orbit. 20 massive warships, each carrying thousands of troops and hundreds of fighter craft. Enough firepower to subjugate an entire star system. Fleet Admiral Seo, the hegemony's foremost military commander, surveyed the tactical display with confidence. He had crushed rebellions across 17 star systems. Earth would be no different. Target the human defensive satellites first, he ordered. Then their ground-based weapons. I want this planet pacified within one planetary rotation. Sub-Commander Jin, recently promoted after surviving the first battle, hesitated. Admiral, with respect, the initial attack force underestimated Earth's capabilities. These humans have technology we didn't know about. Seo's 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of irritation. I've reviewed the battle data. They caught us by surprise, nothing more. Now we know what we're facing. The huge fleet moved forward, weapons charging. Their sensors scanned for the human defenses that had decimated the first wave. They found nothing. Every satellite, every defense platform that had been visible during the first battle had vanished. Earth itself appeared defenseless, with only normal communications and weather satellites in orbit. Where are their weapons? SEO demanded. Unknown, Admiral, replied the sensor officer. We detect minimal military activity. On Earth, inside the underground command center, Admiral Kim watched the hegemony fleet's approach. Around her, senior officers monitored various aspects of Earth's defense. They're proceeding exactly as predicted, said Colonel Lee, head of cyber operations. Their search patterns follow standard hegemony doctrine. Kim nodded. Have they detected any of our assets? No, Admiral. Operation Ghost is working perfectly. Our stealth systems are masking all military signatures. After the initial battle, Earth's forces had implemented their next phase. Every ship, satellite, and defense platform now utilized quantum camouflage, making them invisible to hegemony sensors. Meanwhile, Earth had scattered decoys, simple devices that occasionally emitted false signatures to confuse the enemy. Deep beneath the surface of Europa, Jupiter's ice-covered moon, human engineers had activated their forward operating base. Similar hidden facilities on Mars, Titan, and in the asteroid belt created a web of invisible resistance across the solar system. In orbit around Saturn, Commander Han led a flotilla of Earth's most advanced stealth vessels. Ghost Fleet Squadron standing by, she reported over the quantum encrypted channel. Target packages received. Proceed as planned, Kim ordered. Silent protocol remains in effect. The Ghost Fleet accelerated, their quantum drives leaving no detectable signature. The ships themselves were covered in materials that absorbed rather than reflected any scanning beams directed at them. Admiral Seo grew increasingly frustrated as the hegemony fleet found no targets. "Deploy scout ships to each planetary quadrant," he ordered. The humans must have hidden their defenses. The scouts spread out, searching Earth's orbit methodically. One by one, they began experiencing technical malfunctions. Engines failed. Navigation systems directed them into decaying orbits. Communication equipment shut down. In the shadows of Earth's moon, Colonel Lee's cyber warfare team worked tirelessly, their quantum computers penetrating hegemony systems despite supposedly impenetrable security. "We can't locate their fleet," Sub-Commander Jin reported to Admiral Seo, frustration evident in his voice. "They strike and disappear. The hegemony supply ships, arriving to support the invasion fleet, reported critical system failures at an alarming rate. Some simply vanished, their transponders going silent between Mars and Jupiter." In the asteroid belt, Commander Kang's mining ships, converted into combat vessels, used the dense field of space rocks as cover. When hegemony supply craft passed nearby, they struck quickly before disappearing again among the asteroids. "This is unlike any resistance we've encountered," Seo admitted after a week of fruitless searching. "They refuse direct engagement." "Perhaps we should attempt communication again," suggested Jin. "Offer revised terms." Seo slammed a fist on his command console. "Never. The hegemony does not negotiate with inferior species." In her command center on Europa, Admiral Kim reviewed the progress of Operation Ghost. "Continue targeting their communication relays. Keep them blind and confused." Colonel Lee smiled. "Their entire battle net is compromised. They believe they're fighting a few hundred ships, not realizing we're feeding them false sensor data." The holographic display showed the true situation. Hegemony, ships moving exactly where Earth wanted them, chasing ghosts while the real human fleet maneuvered into position. General Park pointed to a cluster of hegemony vessels near Mars. "Their formation is weakening here. They're spreading themselves too thin trying to find us." "The hegemony has conquered 1,000 worlds," Kim said, studying the display. "But they've never faced humans before." She turned to her communications officer. "Prepare the next phase. It's time to show them what happens when they threaten Earth." Throughout the solar system, human forces silently readied themselves. The real battle was about to begin. After 3 weeks of frustrating cat-and-mouse warfare, Admiral Seo had had enough. The humans refused to engage in proper battle, instead picking off supply ships and isolated scouts while remaining hidden. His superiors on the hegemony homeworld were demanding results. "Prepare for full planetary assault," he ordered. "We will force them to reveal themselves." The massive invasion fleet regrouped and moved toward Earth in tight formation. 5,000 troop carriers, each holding hundreds of hegemony soldiers, positioned themselves for atmospheric entry. "The humans have exhausted their options," Seo told his officers. "Their hit-and-run tactics merely delay the inevitable. Once we establish ground control, their resistance will crumble." Sub-Commander Jin wasn't so certain. "Admiral, I must again express concern. The humans have consistently shown capabilities beyond our intelligence reports." "Your concerns are noted," Seo replied coldly. "Now prepare the landing forces." The hegemony's main invasion fleet emerged from behind the moon, expecting minimal resistance after weeks of conflict. Instead, they flew into a trap. As the fleet crossed an invisible threshold 50,000 miles from Earth, thousands of previously undetectable weapon platforms suddenly activated. The orbital defense grid, hidden until this moment by advanced quantum camouflage, revealed itself simultaneously. On the hegemony flagship, alarms screamed as sensors detected the massive defensive network. "Impossible," Seo shouted. "There's nothing there. Our scans have been thorough." "Energy signatures appearing everywhere," reported the sensor officer, voice rising in panic. "Thousands of platforms. They're powering weapons." The grid fired. Not beams or projectiles, but concentrated gravitational pulses that distorted space itself around the targeted ships. Hegemony vessels crumpled like paper toys as localized gravity fields increased 1,000-fold. In her command center beneath the Pacific Ocean, Admiral Kim watched the defense grid's performance with grim satisfaction. Status report? Grid functioning at 94% efficiency, reported Commander Yoon. Enemy fleet is in disarray. The holographic display showed the invasion, force-breaking formation. Individual ships trying to escape the deadly grid, but the gravitational weapons had been precisely calibrated, close enough to cripple the invasion fleet, but not close enough to allow easy retreat. On the Hegemony flagship, now listing badly as structural integrity fields failed, Admiral Seo watched in horror as the carefully planned invasion disintegrated. "Request immediate reinforcements," he ordered. "Communications are being jammed," Jin replied, gripping his console as the ship shuddered. "We can't reach Hegemony Command." The second phase of Earth's trap activated. From hidden bases on the Moon, Mars, and several asteroids, human battle, cruisers appeared, their quantum camouflage dropping to reveal vessels far more advanced than anything the Hegemony had believed possible. "All ships execute attack pattern Typhoon," Admiral Kim ordered. The human fleet moved with precision that shocked the watching Hegemony commanders. Each Earth vessel targeted specific weaknesses in Hegemony ship design, flaws that should have been unknown to a species that had only just encountered them. "How do they know where to hit us?" Seo demanded, as another cruiser exploded. Jin looked up from his tactical display. "Sir, I believe they've had access to our technical databases. Somehow they've been inside our systems. The realization came too late. The human counterattack was swift and merciless. Admiral Kim had committed only a fraction of Earth's true military power until this moment, keeping their best weapons in reserve for exactly this battle. Earth's vessels moved with impossible agility, their quantum drives allowing them to appear and disappear across the battlefield faster than Hegemony targeting systems could track. "We should offer terms," Jin suggested desperately as their flagship's shields collapsed. Seo shook his head. They no longer appear interested in negotiating. On her command ship now revealed in Earth orbit, Admiral Kim watched the battle unfold. General Park stood at her side, observing the tactical display. "They never understood," Park said quietly. "Humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. War is in our DNA." Kim nodded. "The Hegemony expected us to follow their rulebook. They forgot that innovation comes from necessity." The remaining Hegemony ships attempted to retreat, engaging their faster-than-light drives. Many found their navigation systems compromised, sending them into random coordinates far from safety. Others simply couldn't power their drives as human. Weapons targeted specific engine components. Admiral Seo's flagship, crippled but still operational, drifted in high Earth orbit, surrounded by human vessels. "Your fleet is defeated." Admiral Kim's voice came through on all Hegemony frequencies. "Surrender your forces or be destroyed." SEO stared at the view screen showing the human admiral. How had it come to this? The mighty Hegemony, brought low by a species that hadn't even achieved interstellar travel until they reversed engineered it from captured technology. "We will not surrender to primitives," he began, but Jin cut the transmission. "Sir," the sub-commander said firmly, "we have 20,000 troops aboard. They deserve a chance to live." As Seo hesitated, Earth ships enclosed his vessel in a containment field. "You have 1 minute to decide," Kim's voice announced. "After that, we will assume hostile intent." Seo closed all 4 eyes briefly. Send. The surrender signal. The greatest defeat in Hegemony history was now complete. The question was, what would humanity do next? The news of Earth's victory spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The quantum communication network humanity had secretly built using captured Hegemony technology bypassed normal channels, broadcasting directly to every world under Hegemony control. On thousands of planets, beings of all species watched in stunned silence as footage showed Hegemony warships, previously thought invincible, crumbling under Earth's assault. The Hegemony Emperor June stood in his grand palace on the capital world of Nova Prime, his silver skin reflecting the holographic displays surrounding him. For 10,000 years his lineage had ruled the galaxy without serious challenge. Lies, he hissed, watching another recording of human ships destroying his fleet. Fabrications, to incite rebellion. His chief advisor Han bowed deeply. I regret to inform your magnificence that we have confirmed the footage. The Earth campaign has failed. Admiral Seo has surrendered. Emperor Jun smashed a nearby sculpture with one powerful arm. Impossible. These humans barely mastered space travel. They cannot have defeated our armada. They appear to have concealed their true technological level, Han explained carefully. And they've been transmitting more than just battle footage. With reluctance, Han activated another holographic display. This one showed hegemony troops on a dozen conquered worlds, forcing local populations into labor camps, harvesting resources with no regard for environmental damage and, worse, medical experiments on captured beings. These records were in our secure databases, Han said. Somehow the humans accessed and released them throughout the Empire. The Emperor sank onto his throne. Such activities were common hegemony practice, but always kept hidden from public view. The conquered worlds were told they were being elevated into galactic society, given the privilege of serving the greater good. Now everyone knew the truth. Reports flooded in of revolts on tributary worlds. 12 formerly pacified planets had already overthrown their hegemony governors. More worryingly, several subject species with significant military presence were declaring independence. The Council demands action, Han reported. Many High Lords are questioning whether your dynasty can maintain control. Before Emperor Jun could respond, an alert sounded. Priority communication from Earth, announced the Palace AI. Ignore it, Jun snapped. I cannot, Your Magnificence. They've overridden our security protocols. The central holographic display changed, showing Admiral Kim standing on what appeared to be the bridge of an advanced warship. Emperor Jun, she said without preamble. Your invasion force has been defeated. Your atrocities have been exposed. I speak now with the unified voice of humanity. The Emperor rose, drawing himself up to his full 9-foot height. You dare address me directly? Your species will pay for this insult. We will send 1,000 fleets to burn your world to ash. Admiral Kim's expression remained calm. Before making threats, you should check your system's outer defense grid. Han hurriedly consulted a nearby terminal, his 4-fingered hands moving rapidly over the controls. His yellowish skin paled noticeably. Your Magnificence, he whispered. Human ships have been detected throughout the system. They've disabled our early warning network. Impossible, Jun breathed. They don't have faster-than-light technology advanced enough to reach Nova Prime. We've had it for years, Kim replied, having heard him despite the whisper. Just as we've had quantum entanglement communication, gravitational weaponry, and neural interface systems. We simply chose not to reveal our capabilities until necessary. Out the massive viewport beyond the Emperor, space itself seemed to ripple as hundreds of human warships dropped their quantum camouflage, appearing in perfect formation around Nova Prime. The impossible sight of Earth's armada in orbit around the hegemony throne world answered the question Emperor Jun hadn't yet asked. We didn't want this war, Admiral Kim continued, but we will end it. Here are our terms. Immediate withdrawal of all hegemony forces from Earth's solar system, recognition of human sovereignty, reparations for damages, and the liberation of all worlds currently under forced subjugation. The Emperor's throne room had filled with counselors and military officers, all watching in shock as the human fleet maintained position, easily neutralizing the capital's defensive fire. And if I refuse? Jun asked, though the tremor in his voice betrayed his fear. Admiral Kim's gaze hardened. Then we continue what we started at Earth. The choice is yours, but understand this. Humans don't just fight wars, we annihilate any threat to our existence. Emperor Jun looked around at his advisors, seeing in their faces what he already knew. The hegemony, unconquered for 10 millennia, had finally met its match. I will consider your terms, he said finally. Admiral Kim nodded once. You have one planetary rotation to decide. We've transmitted the full agreement to your government. Remember, we're monitoring your communications. Any attempt to organize countermeasures will be met with immediate action. As her image faded, Emperor June collapsed back onto his throne. For the first time in recorded history, the hegemony would be forced to negotiate as equals, or perhaps even as the weaker party. How did we not see this coming? He whispered. Han looked up from his terminal, genuine fear in his eyes. We believed what we wanted to believe, your magnificence. We saw primitives when we should have recognized equals. Outside the palace windows, Earth's ships hung in the sky like stars, a constant reminder that the galaxy had forever changed.